I'm Gabe Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly daily all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix, everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 3. Can the Thing help the Human Torch repair his powers? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up from where the last issue left off, Ben and Johnny had finally managed to get the multi-sect device left behind for them by Mr. Fantastic. This device would allow them to traverse the multiverse. Johnny hopes this will allow the duo to find Reed and Sue again, but Ben is still lying to him, believing them to be dead, so because of that, he's opted to create some busy work. The Thing says he refuses to take the Human Torch on a multiverse hopping quest until they can finally get his powers under control, which have recently been on the fritz. For that, they decide to look up Hercules. After all, Hercules had powers, lost them, and then got them again, so surely he knows a little bit about this. Furthermore, there's a funny joke involving them meeting him at a bar, but Herc reminding everyone, no, I haven't fallen off the wagon, everybody. Now, Hercules points our two heroes in the direction of a doctor, someone who is able to, through the power of science, get his powers back to him. Here's the crazy twist though, as we discover the Thing actually knows this woman. It's Dr. Rachna, the woman that he had met at the fundraiser back in the first issue. Hey, Indian followers, I have to have some out there. Is Rachna a first name or a last name? Because the comic doesn't tell me. This lady, we soon discover, is not only incredibly smart, being an expert in the field of metahuman power theory, believing all the different power sets, be they mutant, be they godly, be they inhuman, gamma ray, etc., all spring from a certain power source. And once the source is understood, you can basically mess with them accordingly. This is how she says she helped Hercules, but Hercules says that the power was in him all along. She's also incredibly stupid wealthy, and it makes sense. She not only serves the superhero community and charges them an arm and a leg, but she's also not above helping out supervillains either, like Morris Bench, aka the Hydro Man. Human Torch sees the Hydro Man and rightly freaks the hell out, assuming this to be some sort of trap. Ironically, Hydro Man sees him and assumes that this is some sort of superhero sting operation. So, you guessed it, the two end up fighting and wrecking this poor lady's house. What's interesting though is that Rachna, even though she's a big giant nerd, is also not afraid to get her hands dirty. She's developed a special glove that allows her to actually mix it up with metahumans. A power glove, if you would. It's so bad. Eventually, Hydro Man decides to cut and run. It's clear that his powers work and his check cleared, so he might as well leave while the getting's good. After that, Johnny and Ben get Rachna up to speed on what exactly they're looking for. They're not made of money at the moment, which is a shame. Johnny got a huge settlement but ended up using it to fund the Avengers. So while they can't pay her for her services, they do manage to pique her scientific interest by talking about the multi-sect device and their plan to travel to other universes. As shown before, Rachna is pretty smart, but she has a pretty narrow view of science and the universe, but when she figures out that this thing was built by Reed Richards and could actually do what it says on the tin, she decides to offer her services in exchange for going along on the trip. And not a moment too soon either, because as Dr. Rachna puts it in her medical opinion, the reason the Human Torch is losing his powers is because the entire Fantastic Four's gifts are intrinsically tied to one another. And in fact, if they don't manage to find Reed and Sue very soon, both the Thing and the Human Torch will both lose their powers. Now that's some pretty heavy stuff, right? But elsewhere we discover that Ben and Johnny aren't the only ones looking for Reed and Sue. We check on in with the Mad Thinker. Longtime Fantastic Four bad guy, as well as former Future Foundation member, is running his own investigation with a bunch of stolen Richards tech. He gets stopped up by Victor Von Iron Doom, who tells him to basically cut it out, that he's not smart enough or worth it enough to follow in Richards' footsteps. Thinker, of course, refuses, but if nothing else, he is inspired by Dr. Doom's recent turn to Iron Man. He figures, hey, if he can do it, if he can make a change in his life, maybe he can make one too. In doing so, cutting his hair and dubbing himself the new Reed Richards. Hey, you know, he's kind of a dead ringer for him, all things considered. So that was Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 3, everybody, and overall I feel this book continues to deliver in a lot of really interesting ways. It's funny, the dialogue is snappy, the relationship between Ben and Johnny is as good as it's ever been. Zdarsky is playing with some interesting concepts right now about the Fantastic Four needing each other in more than just the familial love kind of way. They like literally need each other for their powers to work. It's nice to see Dr. Doom
Doom continued to be such a big part of this story, as well as other old Fantastic Four bad guys. I even really like Rachna as an inclusion. In fact, if she's going to be joining the Thing and the Human Torch on their quest, I can't help but feel that maybe she's going to be filling the Reed Richards role. I mean, think about it, she's smart, she's kind of a jerk. Now all they need is someone who can possibly turn invisible, and they'll basically have a whole Fantastic Four team. Overall, I'd give this one a very positive 8 out of 10. It continues to make me smile. So that's 2 in 1, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, be sure to take a closer look at some of these other books. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you always know what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're looking to save a bundle on your next comic book purchase, please use my book depository link down in the description. Not only will you have to pay a cent for shipping, but a small portion of everything you buy goes to support me and the channel, which is always nice. So until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you all again later. Bye-bye.